Hello. Oh, okay. Guess they muted up. All right.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello. Good to see all.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi. Hi, Cecilia.
Hi, how are you guys?
I'm doing well.
Great.
How are you doing?
Good, good. Enjoying the hot weather here.
Oh,
It's been amazing in these past days.
good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yes.
Oh. Should I adjust our light? Are we okay?
I can turn it down a little bit.
We are not at our home. We are actually in North Carolina visiting with Steve and Annette and doing some projects up here that we've been planning on working on with them for a while. So we finally were able to come up this week. So we're trying to make sure that things are set up okay.
Yes, we're not in our normal space.
Yeah.
We're in my mom's office, so using her stuff.
Oh,
So-
good, good. Say hi to your daddy.
Yeah,
me.
sure. I will. Thank you.
I remember when I saw him, I think, I don't know if I saw him here in the Valley the last time, or it was in New York.
Okay. It might have
Okay.
been in New York.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it was a homecoming in 2015.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
definitely then.
Yes,
Mhm.
That was great.
that was fun. Well, it's good to see everybody on tonight. Clarence, Evis, Jose, Victor, Marianne, Marlene. Merlene, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Merlene, Daniel, Madeline and Richard, Bill and Kim, Jose, Bruce, Victor, Helen and Walter. Good to see all of you guys tonight. And to our friends over on YouTube, good to see you on as well.
Yes, let's just check that over
I'm sure
there.
that our stream is on up
Yep.
over there.
Looks good.
So we are set up over there. So hi to all of you and anybody that may be tuning in tomorrow, the next day, or whenever to the recording. Awesome to have you on. I had a few phone calls today from some friends that said, hey, they'd be late or they couldn't make it and they were going to connect later. So they were asking if we would record it and we
Yep.
said we would. So,
Yes.
so awesome to be with all of you. So we won't make this super long
No.
tonight.
No.
This teaching tonight is was kind of inspired by Jose, who sent a note out the other day to me talking about be great to do a workshop on personal volume. And so Jose, thanks for the idea. I think it was a great idea, very timely for the new fiscal year and all the changes that are always happening with Amway, but things that are going into effect. So it's good for us to be talking about some of this.
Yes, I think that, it's for many of you, this is going to be probably just a reminder.
Yeah, it's
but-
kind of a refresher for
Right.
all of us.
But I think that it's good to go over the basics, on a continual basis, because sometimes when you don't, you forget them. You forget the things that you need to do, which really are those small building blocks.
Yes.
And because of the changes, and we've been talking about BCS for, gosh, like 2 years now. But beginning on September 1st, of course, was the actual implementation of Rule 4.12, which is the 70% rule, where they had the automatic proration of BV that for anybody, or for BV that's below a 60% VCS threshold in a personal PV
Yes.
group or a personal PV amount. And so we just wanted to, we felt like, okay, September, this is absolutely something that we should all be conscious of, that we should be looking at, that we should make sure that we have the conversations with people in our group who maybe are not even here tonight. Definitely things that people who are new should be conscious that, you know, from the very beginning, obviously, when you have a new IBO, they have to go through a time frame in which they need to sell $300 worth of products in verified customer sales in order to be eligible to sponsor. And so, you know, the emphasis on selling and the emphasis on making sure that you are thinking about your sales is done from the very beginning. But sometimes, even then, it's good to remember that this is one of those things that's just a continual part of building your business.
Yep, agreed. So let's talk about some of the, I would almost call it obvious stuff first,
Okay.
and then let's talk a little bit about strategy.
Right.
And so let's start off, you know, very basically, because I know we have some very seasoned IBOs on here, and we have some IBOs that are new and kind of need to, I'd like them, the new ones, to kind of hear from Jen and I on kind of a framework for thinking about product sales and product volume and personal use and stuff like that. So
Right.
Obviously what Jennifer just said is important to keep in mind, which is we should all be shooting for a target of 60% or higher of personal verified customer sales, personal VCS. That's the whole acronym, right, that we need to keep track of.
Right.
For me personally, what I say and tell people, especially new people when they're going, is have that as your target, and then just be moving your way toward that all the time. And there are a couple things that are important, especially as you start a new person. One is to remember that if they just have a personal use order and they don't allocate that volume to a customer, let's say they sell out of inventory, or they're doing some sampling, or you know, they're thinking of how they can use that volume to count toward VCS, but they forget to actually do it, and they don't do any 1 month. They have 0 in the database for Amway. Amway's computer systems pick that up, and you go on to the clock, and the clock goes for about 5 months.
Right.
And then along that way, you and your upline will be getting emails saying, hey, don't forget, Ken and Jennifer, you need to make sure you log at least 60% VCS 1 month, or you're going to be asked to become a preferred customer.
Right. And actually, one of the things that is important to remember is that IBOs who register now are not going to, if they get reclassified because they are not reporting verified customer sales, they are not going to be converted. They're not going to be reclassified to preferred customer.
Right.
They're going to be reclassified just to a registered customer. The preferred customer status was designed to be for IBOs who were already in the business, right?
Prior to this last year.
And so right now, if you have a new person and they're like, you know, I just want to, I'm not going to report anything. I'll just become a preferred customer. They won't be. They will be a registered customer. So they will have all the benefits of being a registered customer, which there are plenty. You know, you've got the MPerks program. You have the benefits that are associated with that, but you're not going to be able to buy products at IBO price.
Right. So we just want to make sure you keep that in mind as you're talking with new people, because it happens, right? Because if you're not familiar with what's going on in the business,
right,
and you're not familiar with Rule 4.12, which is now being automatically accounted for in the business, then you will get reclassified. And that's not what we want for people. It's not the experience we want for people. We just had a referral come in from out of the country, from some of our team in Poland, actually from a diamond in Poland.
Yeah.
And
And he has a second business here.
he has a second business in the US, and he had a referral, somebody that he thought wanted to be an IBO. And we reached out and talked to this woman. And she said, no, I was in Poland visiting family and saw the business and like the products, but I don't know that I want to build it, but I'm interested in buying the products. And so the referring IBO, this Diamond, thought she wanted to be an IBO.
Right.
When we reached out and talked to her, she said, no, I'd like to be a customer. So we're going to make her a customer of this, IBO, this leader from overseas. But it's important to know that, there may have been a time when we would have said, no, you should be an IBO.
Right.
We don't do that anymore.
Right.
If they're not
Well, they can't
interested,
be. They won't be allowed to
Well-
be just an IBO if they aren't going to actually report it.
they
and
would for
verify.
5 months.
Yes.
And that's not what we want for them,
Yes.
because that's not really what they want. So,
And the other thing to remember there, and this really, it doesn't apply anymore, to just register somebody as an IBO because they want to buy products at product cost, that doesn't work anymore. That doesn't benefit you as an upline. It might benefit them for the 6
For
months.
5 or
Well,
6 months.
the first month is if you don't report any sales, that's month 1. And then you have 5 months after that to report 60%. In order to come off the clock. So, if somebody is thinking that they can just do that, that's not going to be allowed. And it shouldn't be encouraged, because as an upline, what you won't receive any, you'll receive 0 of the BV that would be generated from their business. So they could be buying products and it won't help you at all. You won't get any verified customer sales, and you won't even get any BV from them, because it will all be 100% of it. If they're not reporting any sales, 100% of it would be prorated. So that's not the way that we build the business anymore.
Right.
It might have been 5 years ago, it might have been 20 years ago. It's not the way we do it now. We can't do that.
right.
Bill and Kim had a question. Does one successful month of greater than 60% reset the clock for 6 months? Yes, it does. But really the best practice is, once you hit that 60%, you want to continue to do that. If you go under 60%, you're going to be able to stay in the business. They're not going to reclassify you. But if you go less than 60%, then your BV will be prorated. So really it's the best practice to continue to report 60% of verified customer sales.
Yes. So you don't go on the clock until you have a 0% month.
Yeah.
But anything less than 60% means that you or your upline is going to make less money than if you hit 60% or above.
Yes.
Because what Amway is saying is that they give you the extra 10% to get to 70, according to the CVR, the rule 4.112, the customer volume rule,
Right.
and then they help you move forward. So I didn't mean to derail us for so long on this, but it is an important
It's
topic.
important.
And Daniel, congratulations on your 2 cases of excess.
Yes.
Currently it's 70% VCS. That's awesome. Good job.
Great job.
We would just say, understand that you need to be, by the time the end of the month rolls around, you should just always plan to have your business at 60%.
Yeah. And it's one of those, like, so much of what we're going to talk about tonight is little practices, little habits that you can start developing in your business to actually build your personal volume. So part of that habit building is that you want to be monitoring your VCS. You want to
Yes.
be monitoring your numbers. You don't want to wait until the last day of the month.
Right.
And then that's the first time you look and you see what's going on. That could be an unfortunate surprise that you don't want to see. I would say that you should be probably looking on a weekly basis and seeing how things
Yeah, just to give it a
are
quick
going,
scan.
to get it, to get an idea of what's going on in your business and in your group. Because if you are new and you don't have anybody sponsored under you, then really you know what you've been doing in your own personal activities. So you probably don't have to be paying attention that closely because it's just you. But if you do have people who are in your downline, then you want to also be communicating with them. And you don't want to wait until the last day of the month to communicate with them. You want to be kind of paying attention and, reaching out to them. If you see that, it's getting close and they still haven't reported anything, you say, just send them a note, send them a text, call them up and say, hey, just want to remind you to check in and to create a receipt for inventory sales or to make another customer sale so that you can get your VCS up a little bit because you are below that threshold, or maybe you're even at 0 and we don't want to see you go on the clock.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. As an IBO, you don't have to do any volume, and there's not a minimum amount you need to do. But if you do some volume, you need to have it at 60% or above. That's just a good business practice for today's business environment.
Yeah.
And which means you should be very aware of how you're moving volume and how you're doing volume and how you're reporting and thinking through your business, if you will. So let's talk about volume for a second. So really, Jen, we have two different types of volume
Yes.
that I see. You can have personal use, or you could have customer volume. Really, it's kind of, if you think about it, that's what we're talking
Right.
about.
And really, when we're talking personal use, or the actual products that you buy for yourself and for your business, right? So this is the stuff that you are logging into your app or you're logging into your computer and you're placing an order. Some of that you would most likely be using personally. Some of it you would have be in your pantry inventory. You know that you have customers who routinely want to buy these products, so you need to make sure that you have a little bit of inventory so that you can provide that when you get in touch with people. You actually have some of that. We definitely wouldn't recommend that you inventory load. I don't think that that's a good practice, but you will know and you will get a feeling for what people are interested in, what your customers, the people that you're selling to person to person, what they are interested in. So if you have a little bit of that inventory at your house, then when they reach out to you and say, or you reach out to them and you say, hey, just wanted to see if I can help you place any order, is there anything that you need, then you have that on hand. It's a very easy thing. You don't have to hope and have your fingers crossed that this is not the time when the kitchen cleaner is temporarily not available, which I have been frustrated about because I need some and it hasn't been available. Anyway, I digress. We've had those products where all of a sudden, it's not available. So if you have something that your customers routinely would want to order, then just have a little bit of that on hand. That's a good practice. So you have that. You've got your own stuff you're using. You have things that you buy for samples. You have things that is your pantry inventory. And then, you have people who actually are your registered customers who are ordering on their own.
Yes. And so those people are gold,
Yes,
right?
they are.
Those are wonderful people, and you want to stay thankful for them, encourage them,
Be in contact with them.
be in contact, maybe send them a thank you note in person by hand occasionally.
Yeah.
And you just want to show them your appreciation, just like you would if you had a regular brick and mortar store that you went to every day and flipped around the open sign when you unlocked the door. Those recurring customers, those people are wonderful. And we all wish we had more of them, but they come with time. And they come with time with consistent activity. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I'm seeing some comments and thoughts going up in the chat as we're talking. And if you have a question or an issue or something popped up, feel free to throw it up in the chat. And we'll try to get to it as we're talking. Clarence just said, he had a situation where he had a previous IBO who wanted to get products. And he told her that she needed to become a customer unless she wants to meet the 60% customer volume rule.
Right.
And we've had similar situations where that's what we tell them too, Clarence. Same thing, where we say, listen, here's the deal. Amway has changed. So you certainly can become a customer, an IBO again, but we're only going to encourage you to do that if you plan to really run your business. And that means you're going to have a few customers. You could have one or you could have 50. And you planning to build your business, not just be what in essence is a preferred customer.
And I think that that conversation is a little easier to have now because there are some distinct benefits to being a customer. There are those perks that you can talk to that being an IBO, you don't, you don't have access to. You have the
Like free shipping.
Exactly. You have the free shipping options. You've got the AM perks where you earn points for the products that you buy, and then you're able to redeem that for money off of a future purchase. So all of those things are really good. And really the retail margin now is 10%. It used to be on average about 30%. So there was a much bigger advantage to being an IBO. Somebody like, I'll be an IBO just because I want that 30% discount.
Well, you could really call it 20% because of the CSI, customer sales incentive.
That's true. But that's for people who are 9% and below.
Right.
So, yes. Anyway, I'm just saying that if you are talking to a person who maybe was an IBO in the past and they're like, listen, I want to sign up again because I want to get these products, like Clarence said, you don't, as an IBO, you don't want to just sign people up underneath you who are only going to be your customers, because that's not going to help you. It's not going to it's not going to give you money. That's the bottom line. It's not going to give you any money if you do that. You might get some PV, but you're not going to get any BV. So you're not going to be paid on the volume that this person is purchasing, thinking that they're helping you out, or that they want to, that they like you and they want to be your customer, but they also want that discount. It's just, it's not that situation anymore. So I'm not saying that you would talk to somebody who knows nothing about the business, but in this situation where it was somebody who was an IBO in the past, you can have that conversation too.
So Daniel, we're going to get to your question in a bit. He's talking a little bit about having customers that don't purchase. And that's also an issue that we all have. And we'll talk a little bit more about some ideas around that here in just a few minutes. So stay tuned for that. So back to some of my notes here. When you're talking about this idea of, now we've got personal volume, customer volume, we've got volume that we make the orders. We have volume that somebody else makes the orders. Let's talk for a second about some customers. Some of our customers do prefer for us to just handle everything.
They do.
They may want to pay you through Venmo. They may want to just give you their credit card. It's not necessarily a best practice that, a credit card company is going to want you to handle because, or them to handle. But quite frankly, we have some customers that prefer that.
And honestly, I don't think that that's a big deal, because this is somebody who, and we have a few people that they are generally older people who just, really don't like shopping online, but love the products. And so, they have asked us, they've asked me specifically, if they could just give me their credit card number. And what I do is I put it in the system for that particular order. I don't keep it. I don't write it down and store it away for later use. This is one time only. I'm not storing that information.
You're not keeping credit card.
And my mom buys from us. She's a very good customer of ours, and I keep her credit card number because we have the type of relationship where she knows it's not that big a deal. But for somebody who isn't a family member, or somebody that you have that built-in trust relationship, that's generally what I do. Is I get them every single time I talk to them, and they place an order for with me that way, where I'm actually doing the transaction online myself. I only do it for that single use.
So just keep that in mind. However a customer is interested in ordering, we're interested in taking their order because it allows us to work on that relationship to make them a recurring customer, not just a one-time purchase customer. And we have all kinds, some that purchase monthly and some that purchase once a year for 1 or 2 or 3 products. And they just buy, a handful of products, and then we see them again in a year. It's kind of funny, but it is what it is. And for those people, we are usually very generous in our, how much we would charge for shipping or handling or anything else, because we value their relationship, because it's free, money for us. They're looking for us almost. We're hardly looking for them because they order so infrequently.
Well, and the people who buy from our inventory, generally speaking, those people, I don't even charge shipping to.
There you go.
Because we just, we're buying this on our own. We're keeping it in our pantry inventory. That's a business expense that I look at. And I don't pass that cost on to them. It only happens when we have people who we are ordering for and they don't qualify for the free shipping for whatever reason. Then they get charged shipping there. Because
Absolutely.
I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to take that one on. And but they understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not uncommon to pay shipping costs.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about selling a product, there's really 2 or 3 ways that you're going to do that. One is you personally, kind of on a one-on-one basis, or kind of a one-to-many situation,
Yeah.
or like a product party or something like that. So let's break that down. And the third is kind of a hybrid of the two, where maybe it's through social media or something else. We'll talk about that in a second. On the one-on-one type of situation, there's several ways you can approach this. One, you have products that you keep with you, and they are an occasional or almost a not deliberate, that's the wrong word. They are not necessarily a planned,
more of a spontaneous.
Opportunity to talk to somebody. You've heard us talk in the past about, some of our customer favorite type products, call it a light up lip gloss, call it an excess can, right?
Yeah.
Call it some of the gummies that we have, especially if you have them in sample packs, where you can use one, share one, right? And that depends on your relationship with the person. But those are the types of things where maybe you're using it in your normal course of your being at work, or being at the gym, or being at an event with your kids, or being at church, or being wherever, going to the beach, doing something fun, and people see you with it. And it's not really that they're even necessarily asking you, like, what is that you're drinking? I don't usually have that, quite frankly. Sometimes people do, but usually they just see me drink something like anybody else does. They don't ask. And I might bring it up and
Right.
say, I really love this energy drink. And they would be like, oh yeah, what is that?
Right.
Because that's what they're going to say. And then you say, you should try it. And you can hand them one. And that does not necessarily generate a sale right then, but it generates a conversation, which can lead to a sale.
Yes.
And it generates a conversation that says you're open for business. And I think that is something that's important to think about in the one-to-one type of sales situation or relationship. So one is having products that you're using every day in your life that you make part of your life, and other people have the opportunity to see you using them. Okay. So you can do that in person, or you can do that how would I say this? You can do that in person in that example where it's spontaneous. That's the word I was looking for, Jen. Spontaneous, like you said, situation. Another is a purposeful demo of a product, where you're talking to somebody and you hear of a need that they have. And so you very deliberately go after that need. So Clarence does this, for instance, as a plastic surgeon, as a skin doctor,
Right.
when somebody says they're looking for something to him. Hey, I'm looking for a better lotion of some sort. Well, he has great credibility as a doctor, but if you have somebody who you hear talking about, I'm having this issue, or I'm doing whatever, you can insert your product knowledge from your business, from the lines that you're excited about, and insert that product. And that leads me to one of the best ways of getting a future customer, which is sampling. Sampling is by far and away, the easiest, best way to try to move a product.
And absolutely. But the thing I think that sometimes happens when you sample, if you are not thinking about it, if you're not very intentional about it, you give a sample but then maybe it's somebody you don't know very well, so you don't have their contact information, so you have no way to follow up. Well, that's, great. You gave the sample, but you're not going to make a sale because you don't have that way. So if you give somebody that you don't know very well a sample because you've had this great conversation, you need to make sure that you say, hey, I'd love to get back together. I'd love to get back in contact with you. Can I get your number so that we can have another conversation after you've tried this for a few days? And make sure that you get it right then, and that I think that especially today, if you get somebody and you say, I'll text you or something like that, make sure that you send them a text right then while they're with you.
Yes.
So that you can say, okay, I'm putting your number in my phone. You send the text and you say, hi,
Hi, it's Jen.
yeah, hi, Tim, this is Jen. It was great talking with you today. I look forward to talking to you in the future, so that they know when that number pops up again later, that that's not some sort of weird spam thing, because that's becoming so common.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that we're very intentional about not, introducing yourself, making it very clear when that happened. And I really think that the best way to do that is to do it immediately, because they won't forget you, because you're right.
And I like your idea of actually don't just say hi, actually saying, hi, Tim, it's Jennifer.
Yes.
This is my cell phone number. I'll be in touch later about this product,
Right.
whatever. Because now if you pop up in their feed and they pull you up in their social media, into their chat or whatever, in their text or whatever you're sending them the message, it will show the previous message and they'll be like, who is this? Oh yeah, that's so-and-so.
Yeah.
And they were talking to me about this.
And one of the things, and I see Clarence said something about giving your website, you give your My Shop address. That is absolutely something that you should do as well. Now, one of the things that I would say with that is, if you have a business card, that's great. You can make sure that you have it on your business card. You don't always have a business card with you, or sometimes you give a business
Right.
card to somebody and they lose it. So I always like making sure that I also have their contact information, because then I will be able to, if they forget to follow up with me, I'm still going to be able to follow up with them.
Yeah.
And that's a better thing, because I'm not going to forget. They're going to forget. I'm not going to forget. And I'm going to make sure that I write down, as like a thing to do in 3 days, follow up with Tim and find out, how I can, get him a product full size.
Yeah.
So, but the My Shop, you definitely, if you haven't set up a My Shop page, you need to make sure that you do that. It's very easy. It's simple. You just go over and you follow all the prompts, and you don't actually even have to have any pictures of your own. They've got some beautiful stock imagery that can be used, and then you can profile the products that you're most interested in, or that you think that other people would be most interested in. It's very easy, it's very clean, very professional. So make sure you do that. If you are sharing a specific product with somebody, I really do love the share bar, because the share bar, you can text them from the app or from your computer, right? You have to be logged in in order for this to work. You have to be logged in.
It's very important that
Yeah.
you log in, or it'll give a generic share bar, right?
I don't even think that you can share it if
Okay.
you're not logged in. Maybe, I don't think so. So you need to be logged into your account. You share it, you copy that link, you text it to them. Or
But then it
whatever
links to
things,
you.
but then it goes to your My Shop page, or
Which is
it goes to your IVO number. So if they decide that they want to buy that product, then they're actually going to buy it through you, and they don't even have to remember all of the details. They can just do that on their own.
And that may be even a great method for as an example. Clarence just sent me his picture of his
business card.
his business card,
That's awesome.
which is great.
Yeah.
And to be more specific to what Clarence said when he sends somebody, hey, on his card, here is my Shop address, which is great. If you're talking about a specific product, even better than your My Shop address is the drill down directly to the product that you're talking to them about. So they just click the link and it's easy for them to just find the product and just be right going with it. But of course, that depends if you're talking about a specific product.
Right.
So here's something else. I think that you can demo a product, you can give away a sample, share a personal testimony, or a story. That can be you talking to them unsolicited about something that you're excited about, which sometimes is great in conversation because it just kind of fits. And then other times it's in a response, or somebody, you're listening and you're having a talk with somebody and they talk about, being tired all the time and low energy and whatever else. You say, listen, you need to try some of these products that I have. I've been using this one product and I love it and it really helps me. And they're going to be like, well, what is it? And then you can say, listen, this is the name of the product and I'd love to give you a sample sometime. Or let me give you a few as a sample, and then let me order you some for you. I know you're going to find it amazing. So here's the thing: you have to be a little bold.
You do,
and it's not always comfortable for all of us, but it's not rude to do that, and it's not pushy if what you're doing is helpful. If it's completely out of the blue, unsolicited, random text messages soliciting their business without any context, that is overbearing. But if you're not acting in that way, it's not. If you're starting conversations and you're finding these things out, then it's okay to do that. And always use permission-based marketing. The whole idea of would it be okay if I did this? And usually, if you have a good relationship with somebody, or just you come across reasonably, they'll say sure. And they even strangers will do that with you because they feel a connection in order to do something. So there's another thing you can do, which really I think only works with somebody you have a good relationship with, and that is asking for a referral. If you want to do kind of a back way conversation, you can be talking to somebody who has a proclivity toward some area, skincare, sports nutrition, busy life, whatever it is. And you could say, hey, I'm in business for myself. I'm always looking for new customers. Do you have anybody, or do you know anybody that might be looking for something in the sports nutrition line? Because I'm always looking for new customers and I would love to be able to chat with them. And, if a sale happens, I'd love to give you a product as a thank you, or I would love to, if a sale happens, I would, just really appreciate it. And, whatever, you show some sort of appreciation in a way that is genuine. And there's so many ways you could do that, right? But asking for a referral is not a bad way to do something, especially if it's after somebody has used a product, or has sampled something, or you've done it in that way, which leads me to group selling. Okay, what is that? That's more of any sort of one-to-many sales approach. And most of us think about that if we're going to show the business plan in a home meeting, where maybe you have multiple people in the room and you do a demo. That's group selling. That is an opportunity for you to, you can do anything from dissolve each of the 3 XX tablets into a little glass of water and see how they stay the different colors, which just shows the phytonutrients and the potency and the minerals and all the stuff. Or it could be something where you, again, do some excess, or you do maybe a lotion test, right? Like, you put the lotion on one hand versus the other. It could be any number of things, but you're doing a demo in a meeting where people are getting a chance to actually check out the products. And then the other one is when you really just have some sort of product party. And that can be anything from a spa experience, which I would think is actually probably the most typical today, or you have some other fun type of experience where you do maybe some sort of sports nutrition type product party. I don't know that too much anymore. People do a total generic thing. Although you could throw in, let's say you're doing a skincare, a spa experience type thing. So you're going to do something related to skincare.
Right.
You could throw in a sports nutrition product and you could throw in a home care product.
Right. You
Just
have
one of each.
Exactly. Just having a little bit of the cross-selling exposure,
Yep.
really more than anything else.
That's it. Daniel said you could even do it virtually.
Yes, and actually there's even, if you go into pretty sure it's Amway, it's either Amway Education or the Amway Resource Center. I forget where I last saw it. They have a lot of ways to set up a virtual beauty break.
Yep.
Which is just basically hosting an online meeting and doing, talking about the products and doing those type of things. Another way that, and this is really probably used more one-on-one, but utilizing the virtual artistry, the Artistry Virtual, yes, the Artistry Virtual Beauty app is a great tool as well for selling, because it allows you to, do the little skin diagnosis of just different trouble spots and, your skin age, which is always a little intimidating to do, but it's interesting, right?
Yes.
It's interesting to do that. And then they walk you through different products that would be available. So those would be things that you could send to somebody. You could even say, hey, I'd like you to download this app. Let's try it. I think you'll find it very interesting. We've got a lot of products. You can see things that would be recommended exactly for your skin. It basically scans your skin and it evaluates it, and then can help you know which products would be best to meet those needs.
And Amway's working on more of these.
Yeah, absolutely. And they also have the ability to try on makeup and that type of thing. And then, of course, the wellness recommender is another way that you can talk to somebody. If you know that there's a need, or if somebody's really wants to maybe improve their health, you can say, listen, I've got a very quick tool that will walk through. It'll one's a little bit longer, one's shorter, and it'll ask you some questions and find out basically your lifestyle, some of your health concerns, things that you would like to, areas maybe that you would like to improve with your health and wellness. And it'll walk you through that and then give you recommendations in Nutrilite. And so all of those things are tools to help you have those conversations with people. And honestly, I think that regardless of whether you're doing this in person, which is powerful, having
Yes.
these conversations in person is a powerful thing to do. And so if you should be open, making yourself open to having those conversations will allow you to actually develop more of these customer relationships, and actually just talking to people about the business can lead you to those conversations about
Or vice
the
versa.
products, or exactly vice versa. So, having the commitment to really on a regular basis, ideally daily, have conversations with people as you're getting out there and seeing people face to face, and just, interacting in your daily life, to have these conversations. And sometimes, one of the best things you can do is just say, I'm going to commit to having a conversation, because sometimes people are like, I'm not exactly sure how I'm even going to talk to people I don't know. And so then it's kind of taking those baby steps and saying, well, I'm going to have a conversation with somebody as I'm checking out at the grocery store. I'm going to have a conversation with somebody that I'm standing near, maybe at my child's sports activity.
Yes.
Whatever it is that you're involved in, you have those conversations. And as you get more comfortable talking with people that you don't know that well,
Yep.
then you can transition into where you're actually asking open-ended questions in a way that isn't like pushy or anything. And then you can start having these other conversations about some of the things that, we know can really add value to their lives and meet those needs that you're hearing about. And so it's just sharing yourself, sharing what you believe would help them, and being open to having those conversations. Now, in a virtual environment, I think that it's also it's powerful. And Jose did such a great job in the August masterclass going through some of these different ways in social media that he talks to people.
Mhm.
And when you're in a social media environment, when you're in an online environment, you can have these kinds of conversations as well. But I really believe, and basically, he was saying this as well, you don't want to just be the running commercial. Even if you are in your social media presentations of yourself, things that you're sharing about your life, to have your products be there, people see you doing stuff. That's perfectly fine. And it's not bad to share some new products maybe that are coming out, occasionally. But if you have a constant where it's nothing except for advertisements for Amway products, then people are going to tune you out. That's not the most effective way to engage with people. So, it needs to be balanced. It's far more powerful to use your feed, the things that you're presenting to people, have it be kind of not part of the background, but have it be more part of your life and not as much of just being the commercial. And then as you are talking with people, as you're engaging with people, as you're seeing their posts and you're responding to it, as you're liking that, as you're learning about different people that now you're getting to know a little bit better through social media generally, now you can start having those conversations with those people, even in a virtual environment, and follow up and maybe say, hey, I noticed that you said this. There's something that I think, I have a business and I have a product that I think would really help you. Maybe we can, go offline or we can DM to continue this conversation, but I'd love to talk to you more about it. So you're not just spamming people, because that doesn't work. But you are using social media in a way in which you do start building relationships with people. You get to know them and you start looking for ways that you can meet their needs and build their relationships over time. And have and this kind of goes into the, you go from how do you maybe meet somebody new to, okay, now you've got people that and maybe somebody that was a customer or is a customer, but maybe they don't necessarily buy all that regularly. Forget off the top of my head right now, but Amway has a statistic, and it's in the 6 steps to selling presentations. But it talks about how much easier it is and how much more effective it is to have a repeat sale than it is to find a new person to sell to. That really those relationships that you've had in the past, that as you engage with them over time and follow up and touch base again, those are the people that you're going to have an easier time getting additional sales with than, and you should do both. I mean, we would always encourage you to have new conversations, regardless of whether you're talking about products or you're talking about the business. But when you have people who have already bought from you in the past, you have people who are registered customers, but maybe they don't buy that regularly. You being intentional and being organized about reaching back out to them on a regular basis, and asking them if they need anything, if you can help them with anything, or maybe just reaching out and saying, hey, I was thinking about you. How are you doing? Sending a handwritten note is very powerful, especially if you haven't done it in a while. I like once or twice a year sending to some of our customers who buy pretty much independently. These are people that I'm not interacting with all that regularly, because they are that nice pool of customers that we have that they pretty much just log in and buy stuff. And I just go, oh, I've got more VCS. How nice. I didn't even know that person was going to buy this month. But with those people, I try to at least a couple times a year reach out to them, send them a mini catalog, and just send a note and say, hope you're doing well. If you need anything from me, please let me know. And, it sends a little reminder to that person, or maybe you tag something.
You just stay in their circle.
Right. You stay in their circle. Like you send them a text or you send them an email and say, hey, we've got this new product I think that maybe you'd be interested in based off of the things that you've ordered in the past. You're just following up with them, and you're creating, we offer service, right? We're kind of, we're not Amazon, and
Right.
and we don't want to be Amazon. It's not this impersonal mass selling. We are offering
Concierge service.
a concierge service. We have clients, and we have a much more deep, I guess, even if it's not like them really, really well, but it's more of a deeper connection than they would just going into Walmart or
Well-
going into a Target or going on Amazon.
So the other thing I would say about that is you also have more posture.
Yes.
And if you don't yet, you need to work on your posture with regard to your presence as a business owner.
Mhm.
And so that requires you to begin to become an expert in some of the products or some of the things that are going on in your category that you have an interest,
Right.
because that will come out in your conversation with people, that you know what's happening in that world because you are a business owner in that line of products.
Yeah. And by the way, I found out that the mini catalogs, and maybe it's been announced on the website, I haven't been on in the last couple of days, but I found out last week from Amway that the mini catalogs are going to be released on the 21st of September, the new ones. So if you are interested in using that, or have used them in the past, make sure that you go ahead and order them, because apparently there's until supplies, limited supply until they run out type of thing. And they also are producing some of the full-size catalogs on the same date. And again, it's they don't have a ton of them. They're not going to keep printing them. Apparently, once they have this run, then it's going to be until next year or next
I
spring
guess
or
it's
something
probably
like that.
because of the virtual stuff that they
Yeah,
have.
they do a lot of virtual stuff, and maybe they don't have people that use it, but I know that there's some people who really do like getting a print thing. And with the mini catalogs, it's really nice because it's easy to mail. It's not that expensive. And it's a way that you are bringing awareness of new products.
Do you mail them first class mail, or how do you mail them?
I mail them first class.
Okay.
I just have little mailers. They're like 5x8. And you can buy envelopes, and they just slip perfectly in there. And then it costs, I don't know, I think, it depends on where you're mailing them to, but usually it's less than $2 to mail it.
So here's the thing. It's the thing about print catalogs is that they're sticky. If somebody doesn't throw them away immediately, and they know that they buy these products occasionally, and if you put a tab in there
Mhm.
on something and you say, hey, thought you might be interested in this
Right.
in the future.
Put a little note,
Yeah.
put your business card, make sure you write, some of your information.
These things
on
stick
it.
around,
They
and,
do.
they could end up in somebody's room or in wherever they keep their stuff for years.
There's a reason why big companies still send out catalogs. It's because
They work.
it maybe not as much as in the past before we had so much in online sales, but people still look at catalogs that they receive. And when you have something that now this is, hand addressed and sent from somebody that they know, they're going to open it, look at it. It is, if nothing else, it's a little bit of oh yes, that is my IBO. This
Yeah.
is somebody that I could reach out to if I need to make an order.
So let me jump into a kind of a different category here of things to talk about. In addition to everything we talked about, follow-up is super important. You mentioned this, but more specifically, when delivering a product or handing it off to somebody, Jennifer always tries to give them a mini catalog. If it's an in-person product, goes in the bag with the product, just because we just think it's smart business. It makes sense for us to do that. And like I said, tabbing it a little bit with a note that says, hey, you may also like some such and such. Talking to somebody about AmPerks, making sure that you follow up with an appropriate time frame. If you're giving somebody a product that you think will run out in 2 months, follow up in a month and a half.
Mhm.
And say, hey, you're probably getting close to running out. I hope you've been loving this product. Let me know if you'd like me to order you another
Yeah,
one.
absolutely.
And
And that requires a little bit of organization on your part.
Yep.
Which is why, everybody has different systems that they use, but keeping track of that is important because it'll allow you to effectively follow up with the people.
Okay. Another thing, regarding social media, it's super important that you do not just come across as somebody who's always holding an Amway product in their hand in your social media feed. I just think, you know, you'll see that out there, and I won't say it doesn't work, but what I'll say is that it's very easy for people to just kind of block you out, because most people don't get in their social media accounts to see you holding a can of excess. They get in their social media account to see what's going on in your life when they look at you. They want to know what's happening in your life this week or today. Oh, you did something interesting. What did they do? So if they see a product as part of your life, that's great. But if they see that you're doing it while doing something that you love or you enjoy or is interesting or whatever you think's postable, that's even better. That's much, much better. The other thing I would say, and Daniel, this speaks to your earlier comment about, hey, I have a bunch of people on here, or that our customers don't necessarily buy, and so you need new customers. A couple things. One, with the customers that aren't buying, understand that if you have 20 customers, not all 20 are going to buy in a month. You may have 2 or 3 that buy in a month. That's why we tell people to have 20 customers or 30 or whatever, and then try to farm them a little bit. Think about it, get creative on how you interact with them, not as a group, but individually, to try to keep that relationship alive as a business owner.
Oh, and
not just as a friend.
I probably am saying this to everybody on here knows that this is what you shouldn't do, but just in case you didn't think about this, please don't ever put people in a group text who wasn't expecting to be in a group text. That is just spam to most people, and it's not good
and you put their
practices
phone
at
number
all.
out there,
And they'll block you.
Yeah, they don't like that.
No.
So then the other thing I would mention, Daniel, is that if you're finding yourself, and most of us have this, where you're like, okay, I kind of feel like I've worked my list and now I need to find more people. And if you're finding you're in just a kind of a similar routine where you're not getting out much, or if you do get out, you're only seeing the same half dozen people every day, try to vary your routine. Try to shake things up. Try to set up some activities with people that maybe you have not in a long time. Maybe you invite somebody for a cup of coffee, or maybe you do something where you're trying to build relationships with people and you're trying to interact. Now, I realize for some people it's not as easy to do something like that. So how do you do that virtually? Well, that is a situation where you need to do 2 things. And I think Jose did a great job talking about this in the interview last week, but I'll reiterate everybody here. There's kind of 2 ways to do that. One is your forward-facing way, and one is your reactive way.
Yeah.
So in your reactive way, you're in somebody else's feeds, you're commenting, you're watching, and you're listening, and you don't have to spend all day doing this, but you want to interact with people, especially people that could be potential customers or future IBOs, where you're getting involved in their life, commenting on things to see where maybe something you have could be a fit for them, and then setting up an appointment, whether it's in person or by phone or whatever. That's one thing. And then the proactive way, your front-facing version of that would be, how do people see your persona? What do they see about you? And I think you can have that be some of your personal stuff.
Yep.
And quite frankly, most people do have an interest in your personal life.
Yep.
Maybe not, crazy dumb things, unless that's what you're known for, because you're always trying to be silly or something in a certain way. But you can have an interest that you comment on, that you maybe write about, that you talk about, that you create a presence around. Maybe you see an interesting article. I probably would stay away from, politics, especially as we're in such a divisive society right now. I'd also probably stay away from, overtly religious types of things, because, people feel pushed about something like that sometimes, but you could comment about new research about B vitamins, interesting new studies coming out in skincare. As some of you guys know, I have a business where, I sell skincare products, and I'm really excited about the research that's being done in this area. Check out this article. If you start creating that, here's what happens. There will be people that will comment, and those people are going to be people that you could potentially interact with. And that is a way for you to build your online presence in a way that's deliberate, because you're the one doing that. And will it require some effort? Yes, it will. But if you're going to do something in social media, you have to have a game plan.
Yeah.
And you have to be deliberate. And before the first of the year, before New Year's, we've been working with somebody that's going to be doing some training for the iCommerce team. And we've been doing some training with this woman. And we're going to be teaching some best practices on social media and on some different sales techniques. And that'll be coming out in Spanish and English. And that'll be coming out here in the next couple months. So just know that is on its way. Daniel asked, should I set up a Facebook room? I don't know, maybe. If you think you can create a good group interaction on an interesting topic and have a group of friends doing that, I would say yes. I would not do it just for the business as such. I would do it as it relates to something that you think some different people would have an interest in. And it could be something fun to do. Set up a group. So it's just, I would say, I enjoy fly fishing. So if I was going to do something on a social level and I talked about that, then maybe I would do something that attracted other fishermen or something like that. That's where I would talk about some of those things. Anyway, we've talked
It's
about
after 10.
Yes, about 20 minutes longer than I thought we would
Okay.
about this stuff. I really
Always
did. No, but this time you talked for a long time. It was not me.
Okay.
So anyway, hopefully some of those things will help you get started thinking about this. Now, before we let you go, here's the big thing that you need to understand. If you want to be a professional and you want to really make progress in the business, you have to systematize your activity. What does that mean? That means that you have to be deliberate with your goals. Let's pick an easy one because I can do the math in my head. Let's say that you want to have, you want to do 100 PV every month. Okay. And we know we need to have about 60% VCS. So let's say you want to have a target, you're working toward this. You want to have a target of, you're new in the business, you want to have a target of 60% of your volume in customer sales. Now that means that you would have the average customer order is probably going to be $50 to $100, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And so let's say then you've got an average customer order of somewhere between 15 and 30 PV, something like that. And that means you need to have 2 or 3 customers ordering that month in order to hit that 60 PV. So you need 2 or 3 customers ordering that month. Means you need 1 customer a week or so. And if you hit that as your target with those kind of numbers, then that 4th week would be a bonus.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're saying, so now you need 1 order a week from customers with those kind of numbers. So what is it going to take to get there? What do you need to do? Well, I don't know what it's going to be for you. I don't know how many conversations you're going to need to have in order to have that happen. I don't know how many follow-ups you're going to need. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You don't want to make it so that it's all encompassing of your mind. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is maybe once a week, you need to be proactive. You need to send out some text messages. Maybe you need to set aside a half an hour once a week to send out some text messages or make some phone calls, or you're going to, while you're going about your weekly activities, you're going to try to have 1 new conversation a week or a day with somebody.
Yeah, I would say that if you can do something every day, that would probably be the best regular activity. It starts getting into, and it doesn't have to be long.
It
It's
does
not
not
like you
have to be
do
30 minutes.
30 minutes a day. If you even just spend 5-10 minutes reaching out to a few people on a daily basis, at least 5
Create that
times a
habit.
week, and create that habit and create kind of, this is when I'm going to do this. This is how many people I'm going to reach out. This is how many conversations I'm going to have. And you start being very much like, you're not necessarily focusing on the result that you're getting from those conversations. You're focusing on what you control, which is actually what you are doing. So you are the one that is, you're setting up the time, you're setting up the plan, you're starting the conversations, you're intentional about it.
Yep.
And what that looks like for your life and your business to reach your goals, is
It's a little different for everybody.
it's going to be a little different, but I think that the daily intentional activity is really the best way, because you do want to develop those habits. And the only way that you can develop the habit is by doing a little bit of action every day. So, maybe you would do a little bit every day, and then once a week you would have something that you plan that would be maybe a little larger. But think about how you can do that. What can you do tomorrow to move forward with some of these things?
So if you do this, what's going to happen is you will find that you have better results than if you don't do what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
If you just sporadically try to do some things.
Yeah.
By being deliberate daily, just test it out by doing this for 1 month for 5 minutes a day, and just be very deliberate with reaching out to somebody to start to have different conversations. You're going to see that you will generate volume. You will generate activity. You will be able to look back, make sure you catalog what you're doing, journal it. First of all, journal is good for 2 reasons. One is to really track your progress, keep yourself honest. The other thing is it will give you a place to make some notes about conversations, so that when you follow up, you have something to talk about. Or if you're talking with your upline, with somebody you're mentoring with, you can say, listen, here's some of the things I've done. And they're going to say, well, tell me a little about some of the conversations. Well, I did this and this and this. And maybe they'll be able to make a comment that you'll be like, oh, I should have done that. That would have been really good. Or maybe they will just be a good sounding board for you. Or maybe they're just going to help to be a little bit of an accountability partner. I have that with several people, and they just send me notes once a week or so, and they say, hey, just letting you know, here's some of my activity. Here's what I did. I said I was going to do this. This is what I'm doing. And guess what? We don't always hit our goals.
Yeah.
But you know what? Had we not done anything, we would have nothing to show for it.
You wouldn't have hit your goals.
Yes, but this way they're not hitting their goals, but they're falling forward.
Exactly.
Right? They're succeeding forward.
Right.
And then guess what? You get better, you get smarter, you get more savvy, you get quicker on your feet conversationally, you feel more confident, and you start treating it and starting to get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better results. Mm-hmm. But anyway, those are some things that I would say to systematize some of your activity to be a bit more of a professional. So that's what we wanted to cover tonight. Hopefully some of this has been helpful and has been able to be something that, not everybody's going to get a lot out of everything, but sometimes you get one nugget out of an interaction or a meeting like this, and it gives you a chance just to think about some things. So sorry for keeping you guys a little longer than we planned.
Don't forget this Thursday, there's not going to be a business preview meeting because there is an all IBO Amway virtual event that is at 9 p.m. on the 15th. So hopefully you are all making plans to be there. I think it's going to be interesting, and they have a special guest. What was his name?
Somebody from Shark Tank.
Yeah, somebody from Shark Tank. And so it should be a great evening. Looking forward to that. And then next Friday on the 23rd of September is our September masterclass. So we hope all of you will join us then. And the Spanish one is going to be on the 21st. So if you're bilingual, make your plans to be at the Spanish masterclass on the 21st. Yeah, in a week. And then the English one on the 23rd.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I just yawned. because it's
Because it's
after
late.
10.
We've been working hard.
Yeah, we've been doing crazy remodeling work.
Yes.
So anyway, it's been great connecting with all of you. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful
Yes.
night. And if you have any thoughts or questions, send us a text.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, guys.
See you guys later. Have a great night.
Thank you, Ken and Jennifer.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Cecilia. Have a great night.
Have
You
a good
too.
night.
Thanks. You
Have
too.
a good night. Thank
Bye.
Thanks,
you.
Cecilia.
God
Bye-bye.
bless you all.
Bye.
Stay safe.
It was super,
Yeah, you
super,
too.
super.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You guys are just amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Jose. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, my friend.
Oh, I was muted. Oh, really good.
Bye.
Hi, Avis. Thank you.
Good night. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Funny.
Good night,
Good night,
Victor.
Victor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.